First destination, Fort William. Second destination, Inverness. Third destination, John O'Groats. 217 miles, so that's quite a long way.
Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. I walked way too far last night because of this camping management zone. I'm not going to rush it today. Today's going to be more of a lazy day, although it kind of has a difficulty. This is more of this camping management zone. Reward today. I'd like to get past there if possible, but if not, I know I can sort of head into the woodland and try and find somewhere to camp there. We did, it was probably about 13, 14, at least. Millions of people are going past now. Like a superhighway. This is a little stream that runs around the camp. I discovered it last night. You've got some livestock in there. Here. That grey brown peat water I filtered yesterday, and also generally the water here is quite peaty. Dinner last night was like single malt flavoured dinner. And it was like, Whereas actually, porridge makes sense. Porridge tastes really nice with slightly peaty water, as does coffee. So we've learnt something. I've eaten some of the food. Why does this pack feel heavier than yesterday? But 5 minutes where I turned away is this. In fact, people have left stuff behind, which is naughty. But I don't know where the next bin is. Difficult to be a womble on a through hike. But yeah, this would have been perfect.
Hi.
Hi. Wait for the noisy people to go. I come out into the wild to quiet, not to have people shouting. Especially in German. Let's come out into the wild for peace, quiet and shouting. Really? Yeah, we should have camped up here, but there is no water up here. Not that I could find anyway. I mean, there is water. I wouldn't drink it though. It's kind of peat bog, still stuff, or coming from a pipeline. So I've ordered my new selfie stick. I'm going to go to the post office in Craigallian. I hope I said that right. Which is 22 miles away as a crow flies. Probably longer. I'm sure there'll be bits of shops and things and stuffs before then in the little places. But we're going fairly off-piste, interestingly, for the next couple of days. This is the camping management zone I was talking about. But look, we're fine here. This is all around the zone. In fact, actually, we could have camped around there. The map I saw before was a bit hazy about that bit. But yeah, this is all fine, this is all fine, this is all fine. And then, looks like there are paths going into Solocki is the campsite that has the water. I know that. That is the one that is you have to pre-book and is apparently not very good. Craigallian was heading for us all the way up here. But yeah, you've got these official campsites. They're not cheap though. That one there's about 10 quid. Cashel is really expensive. It's like 16. Oh, the noisy people are back. So yeah. Any German watchers on the channel, let me know. Is there a word for noisy rude? You're being noisy as in like you're being annoying. I'm sure there's probably a word for it. First view of the loch. I would hold it up higher if I had my selfie stick. I was planning to do a live during Scotland, a live thingy. That requires some battery power and it also requires a tripod. I don't want to hold it up in it for an hour. That means that I can't do that until late in the trip. That's a camping spot. You got that view. Exposed though. It's windy up here. They were probably using the stones to peg out their tent. Because I bet they couldn't get their pegs in. So yeah, that's Loch Lomond. We're worried about this wind. Don't know, at least I would say 2 days, maybe 3 days around Loch Lomond. It's big. Oh wow. So many birdies up here. I saw a little yellow birdie, which was like a mini robin, but yellow. If you know what a little yellow birdie is, let me know. Very cute. And wow, that scenery. TM. go on. But this is the point, is this trip is supposed to be me chilling out and not rushing. But I want to slow down, do more paintings. Part of that is, oh, well, you know, if I want to stop somewhere, oh, it's got a bit late. No bother. We'll go and camp here. That was always the idea from a long, long time ago, well before I started this channel. What's happened is that little dramas that happen on the trip stop me from doing that. It makes me just want to go, well, you know, screw Trossachs and Loch Lomond area. Yeah, let's go somewhere else.
This is getting more like it. Tim, stop taking pictures. It's so hard not to though. Why do you do? I don't know, but I do it anyway. I can't include that because of the right reasons either, but that's the song of this trip so far. I really like the white lichen. I'm liking it against the green, sort of the dark, almost green stone. They keep having these little steps, but I'm not sure why. Is this to stop streams? I suppose, yeah, you can see this little stream. Or is this to stop hamsters escaping? Maybe hamsters aren't allowed on the trail. Oh, you bet it. Yeah, this is gonna be ruin. A trip, not shipwreck. No, not shipwreck. This is gonna be ruin. First stream crossing as well. Oh, nice stream. Nice stream. And we have falls. Ah, that'll be some nice drinking water. Nice. Nice. You're gonna get sick of hills by the end of this video. Hills, hills, hills. Hills everywhere. Come on, people. Hills, 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 hills. And this isn't even one of the big hills. So, of course, trekking ball time. Yeah, it's Conic Hill. There are hills much bigger than this. This would be nice with a selfie stick, but anyway. I'm sure we'll get plenty of these later on. Pretty stones though. Greens and kinds of colours. But yeah. Oh dear. I am now reconsidering my trip. I thought this West Highland way was fairly beginner. I mean, it is because it's a marked trail. I don't think it was that many big hills. As I say, this is a mild hill. Oh dear. As I say, not even one of the highest hills. You can see the landslips on there. Yeah, this is a mild one. Oh dear. I think what Ben Nevis is like. But it goes by Ben Nevis. That's the hilly part. Before you get Fort William. That said, by that point, you know, I'll make sure I've finished all my food. Or I'll run my food down. Probably be more punishing than the other hills. Because at this point you've got your food and stuff. I really don't like steps. And I don't mean the group. But I don't like steps up the sides of hills and mountains, because whoever does them has a different gait than I am. Quite often shorter legs than me, because I've got quite, you might have seen I've got quite long legs,
or longer, I don't know, but the steps never match my gait, so there's nothing worse than having a bunch of steps that are really short. If you're a long-shanks like me. In one hand you're like, oh well, I'm glad you put in the steps, but actually I really wish you hadn't, because you're like bunny stepping like these. They're just way too big and too far apart. Unless you're a giant leaping from one to the other, you're not going to get very far. That's what we're here for, the scenery and the heavy rock, obviously. Loch. Sorry, I'm a Sassenach. I'm very good at my the scenery. And my dukes. Are we going up there? Phew, avoided. That's if you want to go up the hill. So that's why all the day hikers are going up the hill. The hikers, they're going this way. Good. You can avoid Conic Hill. A path that goes through Milton or something. Milton of Balmaha, something. And that is also kind of the part of the West End Way. It's just like a diversion of the road, so it's not as bad. So yeah, you don't have to go up Conic Hill. I would advise that. I assume all these bags are probably going to build more steps. Build some steps, because this is quite... yeah, I'm going to stop filming now. This is just... scrabbly. Almost slipped once or twice. Scenery! Oh. Lovely. Stopping here for lunch. On the wonderful Wizard of Loch Road. We're up to see the wonderful Wizard of Loch. Because the wonderful Wizard of Loch Lomond. Yeah, I can't play that for copyright reasons either. Solar panel, obviously, because we've got some sunshine. I realise I've got a reflector, haven't I? A sandwich. Some dumb steps, very annoying. Amazing woods. But you can't camp in them. We're now in the camping management zone. Quite funny, hearing all the visitors complain about walking up from the car park or whatever, and you won't be walking for 20 minutes. Try walking up it and then down it. Which way now? Got two paths. I've got a feeling it's that way. That's the Loch Lomond Visitor Centre. Kind of unimpressed because gated pay toilets. And no water there either. The water is... Apparently there's a fountain down near Balmaha. I remember them saying it's up to Ruadennen Lodge, but apparently it's Ptarmigan Lodge, which is past Ruadennen, where the zone ends. So I don't know if I'm going to make that today. We'll see. But yeah, I don't want to hang around here. Yeah, this is Balmaha. HB toilets in the visitor centre and that kind of development. So, yeah. Tom Weir sighting. Oh, because I follow the John Muir way. Didn't know they knew each other. This is Molly Weir's brother, as in the witch on Rent-A-Ghost. And Tom Weir was a walker who... Don't mind the ice cream. He did lots of television programmes about walking. So if you can check them out on YouTube, Tom Weir's programmes are really good. It's classic slow television. It's wonderful stuff. I'd be lying if I say it wasn't inspiration, but Tom Weir rocks. Did lots of programmes. Hundreds maybe? I wonder what Tom Weir would have thought of the camping ban. He died in 2006, so well for all that, but I do wonder if the Friends of Loch Lomond were part of the reason for that ban in, I think it's 2017, I think it was. It feels wrong. It feels like people trying to protect their investments into posh housing. I just have a feeling that Tom Weir would be pro-wild camping. It just feels like a step backwards, really. The lochside is magical, I have to say. Exactly as I thought it would be. It's as beautiful as I thought it would be. Loch is beautiful, but also nowhere to camp. I spurned thee, Loch. I spurned thee because of silly rules. I hate to say follow the American lead. Many things are not right about America, but I think it's the national parks. I might be wrong. It's what I know. One of the sets of parks in the States have designated camping areas. That's the way to deal with it. They're not paid, so no one's there collecting money or booking or any of that stuff. But you just got these areas that if you don't camp in the areas, then you can get fined. It's a lot of money. Like one of the hiking YouTubers got fined, I think it was $2,000. That's what you need to do, is just have these areas that you can camp in, and then, you know, enforce people who aren't camping in them. Problem solved. First proper river crossing. Oh, for a selfie stick. Maybe I can make one out with twig. I don't know how I'd attach the camera. DIY selfie stick from a twig. I'm sure someone like Moley could do that with his woodworking skills. DIY selfie stick. Free toilet and accessible toilets open for hours, and that's open until about 8 o'clock at Milwaukee Bay. So if you don't want to pay to pee, come to Milwaukee Bay. I sing with hot and cold water. It's just a shame you can't camp here. I went into the shop at Cashel camping and caravanning place. I don't know where they got the Asda microforest tape from. It was only £1.60, so because yeah, a little bit more of this. I didn't bring my phone charger. The problem is if I go to some pub or somewhere and go, oh, you know, I want to charge my battery or my phone, unless they have a spare charger, SOL. This is looking a bit hilly, very rocky. I've just gone past Saloki campsite. There's water there. There's like an open sink, so you can just take the water. But someone was using it. It was tempting that outside. We're getting some golden beaches here. I hope that's golden sand, not golden pollution. It's more the principle of the thing. I'd much rather walk on into the dusk and just keep going. Yeah, another blister. Had to deal with that and stop them for a while. Still about 2 miles to go, and it's chucking it down. And it's after 7, maybe 7:30. This is not good. This is not good. But I would be happier when I'm out of the camping zone thing. Be really happy. I hope I can find somewhere though. Might be pitching in the dark in the rain. I'm not happy about that. But hey, I turned down Saloki. I could have possibly camped there. But I'm not here to camp on campsite. This is the Miller Ross. I don't know. It says Rowaden 2 kilometres. I don't know what kilometres are. I don't use kilometres. I do miles. This is Lochan Dún. This is the only permitted camping area. This is a 4-grade one. What I really don't get is why would you camp there? Because the end of the zone is 2 miles away. Why didn't you put one in the middle? One here and one near Dryman. It's just crazy. They really have intentionally made it difficult. Not in good shape, but I want to get to Ptarmigan Lodge. Turns out, yeah, there is a Ptarmigan Lodge. If you look on Google, it denies the existence of a Ptarmigan Lodge. So I thought they meant Rowaden Lodge, which is the youth hostel. And in the website it says Rowaden Lodge. The signs say Ptarmigan Lodge. Ptarmigan. So I'm going with that. But it adds an extra kind of half a mile to a mile. I'm operating on gloaming at the moment. Gas and gloaming. It is 7:45. Very late. Light rain. That's annoying. Nice views. But when I get to Ptarmigan, I'm literally just going to camp anywhere. I don't care. I went for a constitutional, this kind of dense undergrowth, which is impossible to get my trowel in. And then when I was trying to cover it up, I said, oh, I found this clod of earth, picked it up and then found tissues underneath. Someone had already used it. So I'm trying to cover that up with something. So yeah. Ew. Very dreek, as my partner would say. Very dreek. There are some people back there actually camping on one of the beaches. I double checked online, it's Ptarmigan, and apparently there is a marker that says end of no camping zone somewhere. They are deliberately vague about exactly where the ending is. Maps are really bad. The map is like a blurry mess about, you know, oh this or that. It's somewhere around here. Hallelujah! I'm a free man. I'm not a number, I'm a free man. Now to find a campsite. I don't, obviously maybe not there. Maybe two on the nose. But yeah, unfortunately, of course it's all like this. So yeah, you can camp in it, but how the f*** are you going to get down to it without dying? Made it, and I found a site. It's a bit near the path. The path's just over there. There is some more kind of like Instagrammable stuff down there, but I don't trust being in the dark and wet and crossing the river, because there's a river down there with some very big wet rocks, which I'm just dreading, because there's no ambulance service out here. It's mountain rescue. There's actually about 3 tents on the beach down there, and I saw some flames from the trees. That's why I knew there was must be some way down. I'm going to put the party in right here and run. I'm a free man, but it's chucking it down, so enough of the platitudes. Let's get the tent up. Guess what? Yep, found the tent peg. That's the tent up. I'm just going to, hopefully I don't die falling over in the water in the dark. Yeah, as you can hear, oh, it's chucking it down. I'm glad to be in here. And I'm rocking my spare shirt, Heat Tech shirt from Uniqlo, and I've been reduced. And yeah, it's quite warm, even though it's very thin. I rebrought it because it was white, because apparently midges don't like light colours, allegedly. So yeah. I'm just going to have a choppy drink and make some food, and then just completely flake out. It must be 9 or maybe even 10. Tomorrow, there is no schedule for tomorrow. I mean, eventually I need to get to Craigallian. Yeah, when in Scotland, I went to a really good whiskey shop. I went there specifically for some miniatures. This is Edredor, which is a Pitlochry whiskey. And that is really nice. And Ledaig is by the same people who do Tobermory, and I've got some Tobermory at home. That's very peaty. I kind of wish I hadn't done this one, because what I didn't realise is I was going to get so much peat from my water that actually now I'm like, I'll have to do several tries of this, obviously. Bottoms up. That is a nice whiskey. Nice, recommended. That's the Edredor. That's nice. My favourite of the two. I quite like the Ledaig, but as I say, if I didn't have like peat chasers with every single meal, depending on my water source, I might be more cuddly to it. But at the moment I'm like, more peat! Oh great, you shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. I don't know how long I'm going to be stuck in this tent, in this rain, so I'm not going to do multiple takes of drinking these, even though it'd be quite funny to see me get drunk. These are a vital resource around here. Probably should look pretty nice in the way, because the next shop is like about 12 miles away, so I'm not going to get any more. The reason I recorded that bit black screen, coming here I was listening to those black screen things you see on YouTube. I've always been very soothed by the sound of rain on a tin roof. One of the options you'll see on YouTube and all these calmness sort of sleep apps is rain on a tent, and I bet you any camping person would be like, no, that is not a calming noise, because you're like, oh, in the morning I have to roll up a wet tent, oh no.
That was day 2 of the West Highland Way, walking from Dryman to Ptarmigan Lodge. Ptarmigan! And a distance of 15.6 miles and a total of 29.1 miles. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click the like button and click the subscribe button, because I need your help to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can get monetized. And how else will you find out what happens next? Woo! On screen now will be the next day in the series when it's available. If not, it will be another video or the previous day. Hope you're well. I'll speak to you soon.